This is a story about failure. Miitopia is an easy game. It's baby's first RPG. A charming game where you can gather a team of Superman, Genghis Khan, and Toph from Avatar The Last Airbender, and have them fight monsters created by Dark Lord Ron Swanson. It's fun, it's a good time, but it isn't hard. So as a certified glutton for pain, I've come up with 3 rules to make this game challenging. Let me introduce you to the first ever Miitopia Hardcore Nuzlocke. So, what makes this a hardcore Nuzlocke? Well, there are 3 simple rules. Rule 1, if a Mii faints, they are dead. They become a ghost and can no longer be used in combat. Rule 2. At no point can I use sprinkles. No healing, restoring MP, activating shields, making these hyper, and certainly no reviving. Rule 3. Each stage can only be played as long as I'm going down a new path. This puts a soft level cap on our Miis. Will these restrictions be enough to make the small baby game hard, or will it continue to be a breeze? Well, spoiler alert. This story isn't that of a successful run where nothing goes wrong. No, this is a story about failure. And it's a story that I need to tell. Our story starts on attempt 3 of this challenge. If you're wondering how attempts 1 and 2 ended, well, Editor Geo, play the clips. Yeah, both times before, this challenge ended because of reckless play and my main character being sniped. So this time, when our hero Geo enters the town, he finds Greenhorn, a small village consisting entirely of robots. Everything is going great until the Dark Lord Robotnik flies in, stealing everyone's faces. One particularly devastating loss is that of a small child, Uzi. Her guardian, N, asks us to rescue Uzi from the Dark Lord, and since we are the main character, we agree, getting a magical amulet and charging after Robotnik. The Dark Lord agrees to give us back Uzi's face, but only if we manage to earn it. We face down this gross blob of slime and are tasked with choosing a class. In my past runs, I've tried to be a healer, thinking that I could do a better job than the AI. That didn't work so well. Then, when I tried to be a warrior with high defense, well, that led to its own problems. So this time I go with the thief job and the cool personality, hoping to be able to dodge tank my way through the early game. You see, the cool trait gives you a flat 30% dodge chance, and the thief's backflip adds 15% onto that. Throw in the power of friendship, and suddenly we're dodging attacks more often than not. With the power of crime, we manage to save Uzi, murder several butterflies, and eventually gain our second team member. To keep with the robot theme, I decide to add the most terrifying robot I can think of to the squad. GI Robot from DC. I make GI into a warrior, and again make him cool, as I believe it is the best ability in the game. We adventure together, building up our friendship, and in Miitopia, the power of friendship is the greatest power available. As long as we have it at our side, we cannot fall. And that's quite literal. In this game, the more friendship you have with your team, the more damage you can do, not to mention the higher chance of dodging hits, the ability to fully heal in combat, and the skill of adding funny moments into the story. We save Bender the robot from a Gigantamax butterfly, use pay-to-win strategies to gain more power, and then are joined by our third team member, Aegis, the killer robot from Persona 3. That's right, this time I'm not pulling any punches. My entire team is going to be made from warriors of the highest caliber. That said, our team really could use a healer, but Cleric is frail as dirt. Instead, I give Aegis the Chef role, the most tanky role in the game, even more durable than the literal tank. Soon after, we get the last member of our team to join us, V, the best character in Murder Drones. I decide to make her into a mage, as it's probably the best class in the game, with the highest murder potential. Seems like it will fit her. We breeze through enemies and eventually meet the Great Sage Technoblade, who scares off Robotnik and gives us a role model to look up to. And with that, we have a full team, which means it's time to take on the world. We start by heading up north, where we fight tons of butterflies and clouds, until making it to Kibo the Rock. Aegis almost immediately dies, but that's when I reveal our secret weapon. The safe spot allows us to yoink one party member out of danger, and while they are in the safe spot, they heal themselves on their turn. In a regular run of the game, you almost never need this, because sprinkles trivialize the entire game. But here, the safe spot is the key to making this challenge possible. Despite some suboptimal plays by the AI, and despite a close call with a GI, we managed to drop Kibo's Vaporal Goons, then abuse the safe spot to keep everyone alive. The safe spot also lets us influence where Kibo attacks, which is crucial, because the people next to the one he attacks also take damage. But by keeping GI or Aegis in the safe spot whenever it's open, we can guarantee that only one or two of our party members will get hit with each strike. It takes a while, but with these strategies we managed to clear our first real boss with no casualties. V learns lightning, Geo gets jealous of GI getting a wooden spoon, I burn through loads of outing tickets to increase friendship amongst the party, and then we're headed into the jungle. We make sure to clear every level fully, because each and every drop of XP, food, and gold can mean the difference between thriving and dying in this challenge. You see, like most permadeath challenges, losing one unit can snowball into losing several really fast. And, spoiler alert again, we only get a total of 10 party members through the whole game. And all 10 have to participate in the final showdown, meaning that unlike a Yokai Watch Nuzlocke, a Fire Emblem Iron Man, or any other permadeath run, I can't just sacrifice the weak filler units because I don't have any filler units. They're all necessary. And that's why I ended up spending half of this challenge replaying levels that I hadn't fully cleared yet. As I said before, infinite grinding is cringe and boring, but setting a limit on how much leveling I can do before a big fight means that I better do all of that leveling before moving on. It's also why I take suboptimal paths while traveling. This may seem like overkill, but on my first 2 attempts I played less meticulously and, well, you've already seen how those attempts went. Luckily for you, we get to skip through these boring parts. We fight some laughing mushrooms, buy some gear, then run into the Megatron mouse. We get some lucky dodges thanks to how cool we all are, and Geo spends his turn setting traps, which protect him from a physical attack, essentially hoping to trade one of our turns for one of our enemies, along with a tiny bit of damage. Thanks to V's strength and the luckiest Mauser fight I've ever seen, we make it through without breaking a sweat. Next up on our adventure is the spooky cave where the Banshees live. They hit hard and can stun team members with fake tears, making us spend some time in the safe spot to recover. While running for the treasure in the cave, we discover that even robots get hiccups, then realize that the Banshees can 2-tap GI Robot, who is theoretically our most offensive team member. There's a point where I have to risk either GI or V's lives, and I decide to shelter V. Luckily, GI's turn is up, so he can heal with... Okay, I don't know what it is with the AI in this game, but They really like eating MP candies. Thankfully, even as my whole team gets weak enough to die during the fight, we manage to pull through, shaken but alive. With this close call at the front of my mind, I make sure to gear up the team as best I can before jumping back into the dungeon. I also burn through our last outing tickets because the power of friendship directly impacts our survivability. And something awful is happening. I'm starting to get attached to my team. Look, I've been playing permadeath games long before I started my YouTube channel. I've done dozens of Iron Man runs, lost more Pokemon and Nuzlockes than I can count, and gone as far as to intentionally kill off characters in Darkest Dungeon for kicks. They're just ones and zeros. And yet, slowly but surely, I'm starting to get attached to these characters. And knowing that, most likely, this run will end up like my previous ones, that's starting to legitimately worry me. We push through the cave and find the Dark Lord on the other side, who summons an imp to try and slay us. And despite a close call with Aegis, GI Robot begins to defend his friends, and the power of friendship heals him. Despite the imp's massive HP pool, we manage to drop it without losing anyone, once again. Then it's castle time. Or it would be if we weren't playing on the Switch. Instead, we get a meetup with the horse. We save him from some goblins, and he insists that he joins the team. I grudgingly allow it, though I will not be using him for combat because, that's cheating. I just decided. Boring cheating makes the run less hard. So, Haunts the horse will remain purely an emotional support animal. After sneaking past the Iron Giant, we make our way through the castle, getting stronger as we go. Then it's time to meet the king, the robot devil from Futurama, who teaches us that monarchy is cool as long as the person in charge is noble and good and all that, just like every other medieval RPG. Unfortunately, our great monarch has his face stolen right then and there, meaning that we will have to go and retrieve it. After learning about the power of compliments, and making me ship Geo with V, which is weird considering V is a robot and I'm Geo, a fictional internet insect, we make our way into the forest again, but this one is a different forest, not the same forest full of mushrooms. It's like a jungle forest. We appreciate nature, have a camp out, and then go gambling, baby! You see, occasionally the roulette, which we can play with game tickets, will have about an 80% chance to give us good gear. Normally, you'd only need one of each item given, but if we get more than one, we can sell the excess for gold. Today we do this with the steel sword, selling each weapon for 900 gold. We do this until we run out of game tickets, reaching 6,800 gold. Close to funny number, but no cigar. Eventually, we make it to the King Robot Devil Golem fight. But with the power of traps and dodging, the golem goes down. Then it's back to the castle. We get paid loads of money for our services, and eager to make more cash, we decide to go on a side quest for Princess 2B, who wants us to check on her childhood friend, General Grievous. Unfortunately, this is the movie version of Grievous, not the 2003 version of Grievous, meaning he's completely useless in a fight. We watch him get beaten half to death by some goblins, then decide to step in, saving both Grievous and Uzi again. Then it's back to the castle, where we don't get paid for our services. However, the king gives us another job, and since he always upholds the honor of capitalism, we accept. Time to go pick up a prince, but only after covering every nook and cranny, because the griffin fight is coming up, and I've got some trauma related to that. So, after discovering Geo's love for Choco Rocks, trying and failing to get a piggyback ride from V, and finally meeting up with Brooke the Prince, a character from a show I've never seen. It's Griffin time. Luckily for us, Geo's learned Whirlwind Blades, which allows us to do some major damage to the Griffin. It takes some safe spot shenanigans, but we managed to defeat the beast, only for Prince Brooke to steal our kill credit. We wander back into the castle, only to realize that 2B and Grievous are flirting. Disgusting. This creates some tension, so the king asks us to go snag some calming fruit, which is definitely not a drug. After pondering about the complex political games afoot that made the king of robots betroth his daughter to the prince of skeletons, watching Geo throw away his shot with the girl way out of his lead, and using up all of our outing tickets again, we finally get the fruit. Now we just have to... Oh, right. The guards here are awful. 2B's face is stolen, and Brooke runs away, leaving only General Grievous to save the day. Well, him and us, but the General is determined to save her on his own. Time to enter the big, spooky tower that just appeared out of nowhere. I could go over how the entire tower rating segment went, or 12-second montage. Once we finally make it to the boss, we watch as General Grievous and General 2B have an epic face-off. Grievous lands a few hits, but ends up going down, leading to his untimely death. Luckily, we're here to save the day. The gorilla hits like a truck, but I brought my truck repellent, so we make it out without any close calls. We return to the castle, where we discover that General Grievous has left a backup of his data, meaning he's actually alive. And what's more, after seeing how pathetic the legendary hero of the Skeleton Kingdom fared, Robot Satan decides he doesn't need the Alliance anymore, and permits 2B and Grievous to get together. A sentence I never thought I'd say. But you know what? It's a new ship unlocked. With that done, it's time for us to head to Nexor, a town named because all the sand will make your neck sore. We take one last victory lap in the kingdom, have an epic story by the campfire, hold a feast of honor, and... Wait, where did everybody go? Yep, it's time for Nexor. That means that a new team is here. Luckily, I came prepared for this situation. I set my job to Warrior, to honor GI Robot, then dig out a sword that I snagged earlier. You see, when you get loot from the roulette, you can give it to anyone, even if they can't normally use that equipment. Under regular circumstances, this gimmick is completely useless. But it comes in handy here, as it allows me to immediately equip a sword worth 1,500 gold, meaning I can one-tap pretty much every enemy in the foreseeable future. Thanks to this surprise tool that is helping us now, the early game is a walk in the park. We break Oswald, the mad scientist, out of prison, learn that Techno has lost his lamp, avoid the risky shortcut like my dog avoids thunder, and allow Stitch the cat to join our squad. We get a snack with a dubious name, watch as Brooke releases Waluigi, the evil genie, into the wild, and then make it into Skeleton Village. After getting scammed by Dr. Phosphorus and Hornet, as they ask us to help crowdfund a game that is never coming out, we finally meet Ibuki the Pop Star, making our new team complete. We've been tasked with finding the evil genie and retrieving Dry Bowser's hoard of gold, because he needs that money if he's going to buy the new Mario Kart game. We learn from Technoblade that the way to trap a genie is to say their name while holding their lamp, which explains why the genie in Aladdin never gives out his name. That sly fox. Obviously, no common enemies pose a threat, so we make it deep into the cave before finally facing off against a Minotaur. And as thematic as it would be for me to lose my first unit here, I'll be honest, I'm tryharding this run. And after going through each area in the cave multiple times to squeeze every drop of XP I can from that area, I wipe the floor with the Minotaur. It's like if Theseus showed up to the fight with a shotgun and some Gorilla Glue. And, of course, the genie is all bark and no bite, getting Luigi's mansioned. Unfortunately, the game forces me to spare Waluigi's life once he agrees to give the gold back. I try to take some of the gold for myself, but the genie doesn't play along. Maybe the owner of the gold will reward... Nope. Town gone. We quickly try to save Dry Bowser, easily shredding through the painting body, but we only get a story gem as a reward. Next, we fight hordes of moles, encounter the Papyrus Cobra, and trivialize the fight by being good at life. We've reached level 10, which is where the fun begins, because it's pyramid time. We reduce some golems to rubble, risk Stitch's life while fighting the Mona Lisa, dodge the 33% chance for him to die, learn a secret code from Skeletor, watch Ibuki disappear into the Shadow Realm, but only temporarily, and defeat a sword with AoE attacks, which stop his shield buddy from protecting him. Then we snag the needed gemstones, open the shiny door, and challenge Pharaoh Waluigi. Despite having a very annoying move that requires a party member to be healed via safe spot, the only close call is Oswald's HP falling to 6. But with the power of MP and jump slashes, we take down the Pharaoh, foiling Robotnik's plans yet again. We ignore the photographer, watch the genie cause a tornado, get cursed to see GI Robot without makeup, sell a soul for some royal roast, and kill Stitch with a poisonous mushroom. Okay, he isn't dead, but I feel like this Nuzlocke is getting a bit boring, with no casualties and all. Then again, as I said before, I'm actually starting to get attached to these characters, though less so than my first group, which I feel like is always the case. And yet, this game does such a good job of throwing in goofy, random moments that I can't help but want to see my team go on to defeat the forces of evil. Even as they get captured, I'm already determined to save them all. And the fact that I haven't played this game in years really does make each little scene feel fresh. Looking as my two captured parties unite makes me all the more determined to see them safe. And now it's on to the fairy fort. Here, I decide it's finally time to equip my favorite job in the game, Mage. I figure that this will be the best course of action because magic is both an offensive and defensive stat, helping your attack and resistance against enemy magic. My defense has a decent boost too, thanks to all of the meals I've had so far, meaning that I am able to cruise through the early parts of the Magic Forest, despite not having any OP loot to carry. Of course, I didn't come here with 0 tricks up my sleeve. In Wizardland, we're going to start abusing the power of friendship to its limits. We start by recruiting Throne the Thief. Normally, I try to only take one character per franchise into my team, or at least one character per game, but I needed a thief, so oh well. I spend enough outing tickets to get us up to rank 6 from the get-go, then have another run-in with Techno. We make it to the village, and I realize that I'm totally missing an opportunity to make the YouTube algorithm love this video. So, I spend 5 minutes making a Mii for Mr. Beast. Then we see Mr. Beast is dying from a lack of money. However, we like our money, so we leave Mr. Beast to die, heading into the town and never seeing Mr. Beast again. Anyway, after that strange encounter, we meet with Hilda from Fire Emblem, 3 Houses, who informs us that her magical fairy sisters have been kidnapped by the Dark Lord, and offers to join us on our quest, the same way that Prince Brook did way back when. More importantly, we meet Angela from Lobotomy Corporation, a game that I own but have yet to play. However, our team has been lacking in cute robot girls lately, so I add her as our team's princess. Does that role fit her, LobCorp fans? I don't care, it does now. We proceed to go on a murderous rampage, wiping out each and every enemy we can, traveling through the magic orange juice cave, gaining invisibility, losing invisibility, and find Hilda from Pokemon Black and White. Of course, her face is missing, but we've killed more than enough monsters here, and the boss poses no real threat to us. And yet, despite the first boss fight occurring, we still don't have our final team member. Odd. You know, they say when you reach rock bottom, the only place to go is up. Well, I'm afraid that the reverse is true as well. We've been doing so well for so long, and yet one mistake is all it takes for it all to fall away. There she is, Maki from Danganronpa, my favorite character in the series. And since I don't really want to double up on jobs at this point, but need another physical attacker, I decide to make Maki a tank. Sure, warrior is just objectively better, but tank's good too, right? We make our way through the forest, save the final Fab Fairy, Hilda, from A Link Between Worlds, and watch them do an oddly sensual dance for a kid's game. The door opens and Robotnik jump scares us. Then he steals Hilda's face, Hilda from Fire Emblem to be precise, and also half of the town. You know the drill by now. Fight Amy the Butterfly. We've taken our first casualty. Maki, who joined too late in the campaign, and who couldn't level up thanks to us thoroughly clearing out the previous areas. She's gone. I failed her. We only knew her for a short time, and yet she trusted us. Trusted me. And I failed her. Somewhere out there, a young detective is smiling, believing that his wife is out there saving the world. And instead, because of my failures, she's gone. The next fights pass in the blink of an eye. Geo, Angela, and Throne have no trouble with the enemies, thanks to their high level. We sweep through the next areas, using more outing tickets on Throne and Angela in an attempt to boost our team's strength. We throw Throne in the safe spot when fighting the Tomato Bros, because Angela and Geo both like their juice attack, which just gives us free healing, courtesy of the boss. The Toph slime goes down easily enough too, as the splash damage is mitigated by keeping Throne in the safe spot whenever the slime's about to attack. Normal levels are ran through with ease, and the only problem that arises comes from the fiend we find in the flower area. Now, I've decided to employ something I call the Fiend Clause, because, let's face it, insta-death is boring. So the rule is that all fiends get one collective kill, and this also applies to any one-shot kill. The first character they knock down stays dead, but all others get off free. Additionally, if Geo goes down, that doesn't count, as killing the run would be a really dumb way for the story to end. Coincidentally, the fiend we run into tries to kill Geo, but thanks to our handy claws, that just ends with us getting out of the encounter scot-free. After murdering dozens of literal baby frogs, we find the big mama frog with Hilda's face on it. The fight is long and hard, and actually slightly challenging, but with the power of friendship giving us stronger attacks, we manage to slay the beast, saving the elves and avenging Maki as best we can. With that, we get some cake from Hilda as a reward, have to watch the cringe dance again, and cry inside as there's a conspicuously missing spot in the dance because there's an even number of dancers on account of Maki's death. Then, it's time to invade Lava Land. We take our victory lap of Elfville, watch our friends get kidnapped, and keep our job this time, remaining a wizard. With high magic and physical defense thanks to food, I figure that this is our best bet. Of course, we're still going to have a tough time of it if we don't replenish our team stat. And luckily, we meet with Technoblade once more, and he offers to join us and help us save our friends. Techno provides some very nice firepower to our team, though with only a single unit, we aren't able to access the safe spot, which could become troublesome. Thankfully, Techno also found two of our companions, V and Ibuki's bodies have been found, but their faces are missing. Also, Maki's corpse has been recovered. Now, I make my biggest mistake of the run. You see, I foolishly figured that Techno would only stay with us until we had a full team. Something I now know is not the case. However, I figured that since I can't use Maki, I should instead do as much as possible before recruiting her. Getting V's face is a bit sketchy, but with some cool dodges we make it work. Then we save Ibuki, giving us a mostly full team. Then I challenge the Minotaurs. This is the grand fumble of our run. The mini-boss is completely optional, and there's nothing you really gain from beating them. But I, thinking that I needed to defeat them to move forward, decide to face them before getting Maki back. You know, so I'll still have Techno's help. Ibuki dies in this fight. I almost get the whole team killed. We're only bailed out because Techno uses a pillar of flame to finish off one of the monsters. Ibuki, who just got back from having her face stolen, fighting her way out of the underworld, only to die here because of a foolish blunder. It felt bad, man. The only thing that felt worse than that was losing V. We entered the volcanic cave, and a boulder fell, splitting the party. Geo made it through his part with ease, Techno helping all the way. But V, all I could do was watch the AI try and fail to make it through this trial. A flame mummy stole her weapon, and because there was nobody to support her, she was unable to fight her way out of the volcano. I won't lie. I know that you're not supposed to have favorites in these sorts of things, but V was my favorite. A character whose death made me stop watching the original show, only to see history repeat. It hurt more than any loss I can remember from all my days doing permadeath challenges. At this point, a tiny spark of hope remained. If I managed to take down the Cerberus, I'd get 3 party members back, a full team. But of course, one man, no matter how powerful, can't defeat his own nightmares alone. As I watched the Purgatory Pups and Geo into a spiral of nightmares and death, unable to take refuge in my sweet, sweet safe spot, I accepted my fate. Geo died there, just like too many friends before. So, why tell this story at all? I mean, I'm a challenge runner. Shouldn't I be focusing on my challenges that ended in success? Well, to be honest, I feel like I owe it to this team to make this video. I owe it to Maki, Ibuki, and V, whose deaths would otherwise be in vain. I owe it to GI, Throne, Stitch, Aegis, Oswald, and Angela, who all remained in the Dark Lord's power. The characters who gave it their all. The characters I failed. I owe it to myself, and to you, the viewer. I love that this is my part-time job, and I love making videos. But so often these videos end up portraying me as someone who's actually good at video games, when in reality, I'm just someone who enjoys a fun challenge. This run ended up taking around 10 hours. 10 hours that I legitimately enjoyed. And it would feel like a shame if it all went to waste, falling into my second channel, never to be known by my wider audience. Lastly, I think it's important to remember that in life, we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to always succeed. Failure happens. We make mistakes. All we can do is learn from them, and then try again, push on, do better. And we have to trust that when it really matters, we can overcome the things we need to do.